We are here, and I'm going to tell you everything you should know, or gotta know, or, only really need to know. You don't really need to know everything. Hell, you don't need to know nothing. It makes things funner if you don't know anything. But that's not good for my YouTube video. So thank you for clicking on this video. If you're a real one, thank you. If you're not, subscribe to become a real one, which would be pretty cool. Also, if you don't want to do that, take your time, watch the whole video, and maybe that'll help you first. Also, a like and a comment, a like would be cool, but a comment would be fantastic. I would love to know your opinions on Black Ops 7 in general. The zombies, how you feel about it, what you want, what you don't want, what you are liking and don't liking. I'm going to tell you everything you should know. Mr. Waffle Waffle went through the whole blog post, and that's like an hour plus. And I understand, as someone who does hour-long videos a lot, I've noticed that doesn't always do the best when it comes to watch retention, and that's what I'm going for. So, I have condensed the blog post in general, and hopefully this video isn't an hour long. So starting off, our launch map is Ashes of the Damned. It is a smorgasbord of locations, the Dark Ether pocket or land of the Dark Ether with other things sucked into it. So think of like if you watch Marvel, the most recent thing would be Deadpool and Wolverine. Also the Loki TV show, The Void, where the TVMA or whatever the hell they're called, where they get sent to, where they send people, the Void. That's basically what the Dark Ether is in this incarnation of zombies. So essentially, not only is our characters from Black Ops 6 sent here to the Void, or my bad, the Dark Ether, we don't know how, maybe we'll learn about it, but our crew, our OG crew returns in the Dark Ether. Tank Dempsey, Rick Tofen, Nikolai, and Takio, but unfortunately, very sad, all the original voice actors have returned except for Tom Kane, because he unfortunately has had a stroke. Lately, I've been saying some problem with his throat. Apologize for the misinformation. Legendary voice actor for Tom Kane. He deserves a medal in recognition. Even though I'm a nobody here, I just want to give him that recognition because after looking into it, I've always known Tom. I've always heard the name. I've always known he was a top tier voice actor like Nolan North and like Steve Bloom. I don't know much about Nikolai's guy. I think that's his most popular role. I could be wrong. I'm sorry, bruh. But Tom Kane is literally in Star Wars, and he's in literally everything. He's Yoda in literally everything but the original movies and the new movies. But in the new movies, like The Last Jedi, he's Admiral Akbar. Bro, what? To all the real ones, he's also, of course, Yoda in Battlefront. Not only 2 and 1, but the original 2 and 1. Tom Kane is a legend, and we bid you farewell, kind sir. Hopefully the stroke has not worsened at all, and it's subsided, and he can at least live with some peace. But also, our crew is not Ultimus nor Primus. It is a new version. Rick Tofen is from alternate World War II, where Germany won, I believe. Nikolai is a Soviet Russian in Afghanistan to some degree. I don't really know that much. Takio's a 16th century samurai who dishonor his family. And Tank Dempsey is from Vietnam or something. But I shall deem this crew dingus. But this map includes, just like, the idea of the void, pockets of our world or alternate worlds slightly shifted. Have been falling into the Dark Ether, almost like Marvel's VTVM, whatever it is. If you're a Marvel nerd, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, the map is comprised of confirmed places of sections of Ascension, more so the launch multiplayer map top area. Hopefully more, and also below where the Pack Punch originally was in Ascension, which is really dope. Transit locations like the diner, of course, slightly shifted and expanded upon, including farm, which again has been expanded and extended upon. Apparently, it's got a basement. It's got the OG barn. I'm assuming the house is somewhat mostly similar. I hope so, personally. We will actually see the survival version of that map in the beta, which I'll get to in a little bit. There's 2 other locations that have been shown that I personally have. There's a boat that is also, I guess, close to a pyramid in the map. Personally, I thought it was Moon when I did my reaction trailer, and then towards the end I realized maybe it's Call of the Dead, which I would mostly prefer. A lot of other people say Call of the Dead as well. At the end of the day, it could just be a boat, but it does look kind of similar to the Call of the Dead boat to me and to some other people. Also, I haven't seen anyone really say this, but there's a map location called Ashwood, which is like a region from a bygone era, a frontier town, aka a cowboy town, aka buried, brother. Look at that hotel, whatever it was. It looks like buried to me. I truly believe it is buried, which is very, very cool. Very, very dope. You know, in my trailer reaction, I said maybe this is a slight setup to where when Black Ops 7 ends, it could be one of, with a lot of asterisks because it's still Warzone zombies a little bit. Could be one of the best zombies experiences if they don't get screwed by Activision, because Treyarch gets pulled away from their main game constantly to go help on other games constantly. Like Cold War. Wasn't supposed to be a Treyarch game. It was supposed to be a Raven Sledgehammer, led by Raven, I believe. But they were fighting and couldn't work together calmly. So Activision was like, "Ayo, Treyarch, you know how to get shit done. Get in here." So I believe it's buried. It could not be buried. It also could not be Call of Dead for all I know. And it could just be locations from Ascension and Transit, because the map is heavily based off of Transit. Speaking of the map, speaking of survival maps, in the beta, we'll be able to play the one and only survival map at launch. Unfortunately, I think it's very mid, very weak, very maybe lazy. I don't know. I give Treyarch some leeway, but it just seems kind of ridiculous that a survival map, that the game's going to launch one survival map, which is Farm, which Milo and multiple YouTubers had already played back in August. The fact that they're going to launch with only one survival map when they could probably just make like the launch area a survival map, or even the what I predict to be the buried area to be also a launch survival map. I don't know, it's just a little disappointing, but survival maps are essentially just smaller sections. Back in Black Ops 2, you know, when it came to Transit, you could do Bus Depot, Town, which was the most famous one, Farm back in the day as well, which I personally really liked because I thought it was a hardcore map. Each map had their own different feel back in the day. Survival maps in this game will literally give you everything. Probably not every perk, but will give you a Wonder Fizz probably. And they're going to move around and add mystery boxes and ammo caches, which they reskinned, and pack-a-punches, which is cool. I like that. I kind of wish there was 2 variants of like that version and like this is what the version looks like from the map, and then the handheld version, because I really liked that they did that in survival in Black Ops 2. The survival maps in this, they're making it a lot more gamer friendly, I guess, casual friendly, I would say. I think it would be cool if they added more versions related to Cursed mode, which we will get to. But the survival maps will essentially be probably one of the most played modes, strictly for the camo grind for the multiplayer crew community that wants to just grind camos. They'll probably play survival maps. They probably won't play Ashes of the Damned because that would be too much for their little brains. But if you're a camo grinder, survival maps will be where you probably go to grind all day. That will be your Liberty Falls. But for Ashes of the Damned, we will have a truck that we will be able to build, repair, which can get damaged. It is called Old Tessie. It's considered a wonder vehicle. It can be upgraded with other parts like a abomination head, you know, to shoot its mouth lasers. DG2 turret, which is basically like a Wonderwaff Gatling gun turret thingamabob, which is manned by a player, you or your team, you know, unless you're playing solo, which is gonna be tough. Hopefully you can just swap seats, because that would be fun. If not, if you're a solo player, which I kind of am these days, might be disappointing to not really experience all that if you can't just switch back and forth. I hope you can, but it can be damaged and it can break down, I believe, so you'll have to get it fixed. To how that is done, not a clue. Also, the back of the trunk is the map's Pack-a-Punch. So it's the first ever mobile Pack-a-Punch, which is pretty dope. Also, the Pack-a-Punch camo looks pretty sweet. Wonder weapons. We got the ray gun and the Mark II returning, which I appreciate. A lot of people just hate on the ray gun and Mark II these days, I feel like. I really like the Mark II. It felt really, really nice, personally. The ray gun is kind of mid. I feel like both those guns need buffs, but for some reason they don't do that. I don't know why. Also, the map has its own wonder weapon, the Necro Fluid Gauntlet, which will shoot spikes and essentially summon them back like Magneto, low-key. Also, just a rumor, speculation on my part. Is that meaning it's going to be infinite ammo since the spikes come back to you, which is cool. Also, do the spikes damage when they come back? I don't know. That's interesting. We'll have to see. It can also pull in items and power-ups. When it comes to, it says items. I don't really know what that means exactly. When it means items, does that mean like salvage on the floor or what? I'm not entirely sure. Field upgrades. We got new ones. You know, there's toxic growth, which is apparently one from Cold War, so it's actually not new. It's new to me. But you know, those things are all new. There's new augments. Everything you've unlocked in Black Ops 6 will carry over. So if you finished all the augments grind, which I have not, those will all carry over because all the field upgrades and augments and all that jazz, even the augments for all the other things like the weapon mods, etc., and perks, are all carrying forward. So, and all those things will be getting one new major and one new minor. So if you've completed literally everything, then all you need to do is unlock that new major and new minor. I assume by also completing the new augments, the minor and the new major for each thing, you will have another thing to unlock, which will give you another slot. So now you can select one major and two minors. Personally, again, I would say that's very cool. A great, nice little enhancement to one of the augments and field upgrades, weapon mods, perks, etc. Personally, I think it'd be cool to have all that, but also maybe give the option to choose between two majors instead of one major, two minors. That's just my opinion. Or hell, maybe even like 4 minors altogether. That would be kind of cool. That's just me, you know, going crazy. That's just something I think would be neat, and I would like do some wackiness like that. That's just a personal thing. But the slight problem. Now, most augments are all the same, but mostly the ones that have been changed have all been nerfs. They've all just been making something slightly worse, which is ridiculous. There was a couple buffs, like for example, brain rot is the brain rot zombie won't kill the last zombie. There's also a new perk in the game called Wisp T, which is also kind of the same concept of having a little companion, kind of like Luna from Black Ops 4, if you ever played that or recall that. That thing will also not kill the last zombie, which is very nice for people who do that. The reason why I'm harping on field upgrades is because they've also been nerfed, unfortunately, because the earn rates in getting them have been decreased. So you get them less. So also, the more you get them, the harder it gets to get them the next time, while also making them, by default, slower to get. It's a PvE mode. I'm just saying, it's a PvE mode. I like the idea of zombies being a power fantasy, but the zombies always win, you know? You might get powerful at one point, but eventually start realizing the zombies are just too much to deal with. This is just nerfing you to nerf you. I don't know the reasoning. Are they making it, do they think the game's too easy? I will say the game does. In Black Ops 6, it doesn't feel that hard, but when it starts getting hard, it gets really hard. So, I don't know. The buffing, the debuffing, the nerfing, it just seems problematic to me. Like, why? Now, in some good news, you can buy ammo for cheaper at wall buys. which in Black Ops 6, probably also in Cold War, when you would buy a gun off the wall, which most of the time, who would? You literally load in with your 14 attachment LMG. If you were to buy a weapon off the wall and try to buy ammo again, you would just buy the weapon off the wall again for the same price, which was really stupid. I don't know why they haven't had this, to be honest with you. But now you can buy a wall gun and then go back there to buy the ammo, basically making wall buys more prominent. There's still ammo caches, of course, but if you also buy a gun from the wall and pack a punch it, you could just go to that spot to get ammo instead of an ammo cache. For all I know, I think, not confirmed, I think the wall buy will be slightly cheaper than the ammo cache. If they're the same price, I'm wrong. That'll definitely be something I'll try and see in the beta, which I think personally wall buy should still be cheaper than the ammo cache, since the ammo cache is just kind of holding your hand. Also, armor wall buys are universal now, so you can buy your armor and then level, you got level 3 instead of having to go all the way to the cross of the map to find the level 3 armor to replenish your armor. You can just go to any of them, which I believe they all level up. So they start off as all blue, which is, I believe, is just a 2, and then they eventually level up to the 3. Just like how guns level up throughout the rounds, they go from the blue all the way up to purple when you're in like round like 30, whatever. The mystery box. You can now obtain the ether tool, which upgrades your weapon rarity. To be honest, I've never used an ether tool because every time I ever gotten it from like a SAM trial, which is actually now TED trials, fun fact, I could never use it because I already had purple rarity or whatever the best rarity was. I already had it. So it's cool that they did that. Kill streaks, score streaks are no longer in the box, which I've had some moments on the channel of content where I opened the few times I used the box, because the box has become pretty much useless since Cold War, in my opinion. I remember on the Tomb, it was really pissing me off because I kept getting score streaks when I wanted a gun. But also, I feel like it's kind of like, why not give me the score streaks too? I like the score streaks, just make them more rare. That's just my opinion, but they're gone now. I just think that's kind of silly, personally. But the box will finally be useful. But I would assume more useful in curse mode, which again, we will get to. Melee weapons have been enhanced to give you more controls, so you can actually like kind of control your swings to see, you can actually do a critical attack to heads and also heavy strikes. So maybe think of like Fallout or Skyrim, where you hold the button to do a stronger strike, and just regular clicks just do swiping. Maybe you can move the camera to do that a lot better. But since now you can actually do a legitimate critical hit, I'm assuming melee weapons will be a lot harder because now they have the opportunity to do headshots, which I don't think a lot of people will enjoy. But who knows? Maybe it won't be that hard for the camo grind, but maybe it is. Now, the best thing, personally, that I'm excited for that they have introduced for Black Ops 7 is Cursed Mode. We don't know how to unlock it. It is available at launch, but it is locked by default, which we will need to learn how to do that. There is a video where they do kind of say the main quest, but they don't really outright say do the main quest to unlock Cursed Mode. The sentence is real weird. I don't know why Treyarch doesn't know how to type correctly on posts or in videos, but we will figure that out when the game comes out. I hope it's not the main quest. I hope it's a little easier than that. I will fight to go get Cursed Mode, because Cursed Mode brings us no armor, no exfil, no minimap, starting with a pistol, 4 perk limit, which classic point system from Black Ops 3. Woo! It's going to be very fun. Now, the mode is very interesting how they're doing it. It's almost so that there's things called relics to unlock, and I'm assuming and if each relic is based off of Black Ops Zombies history, which would be kind of cool. So I think it'll be like previous items, like probably like the golden rod or like the ball from Shang or Moon or whatever. I'm a novice expert of zombie lore, but just think of certain things. Probably the switch, hand on the switch. You know, Peter McCain's hand probably be a relic. You know, so they're just items to collect and look at, but essentially they're gonna work like either the death cards from World at War, but most popular, the skulls from the Halo franchise, where each item, each relic will be essentially some kind of challenge enhancer. So you can kind of play curse mode how you like. I would assume the 4 perk limit will be a relic to some degree. Maybe it'll be a perk bottle instead of a perk can. Now will give us the limit to 4 perks. These things are not confirmed. This is just my speculation. I think the community speculation, but I would, you know, for all we know, the default of the mode could be no armor, no exfil, no minimap, starting with a pistol, 4 perk limit, and the classic points. Personally, I hope the no armor, no exfil, no map, and the starting points and the starting pistol, or the point system, I should say, excuse me, are the defaults. Personally, I do like the 4 perk limit. That is something that I've always wanted back, but to some degree, how Black Ops 7 and 6, and even all the way back to Cold War, how they work, a 4 perk limit is extremely limiting for the mode, because now Jug, and I would personally say Quick Revive, is a bit of a crutch perk in modern zombies. For the longest time, it was mainly just Jug. That's why they got rid of Jug in Black Ops 4 to try and make people pick different perks. I think raising it to 5 would be a more substantial thing, but even though, you know, you get Quick Revive, you get Jug, and then you have 3 perks to choose from, everyone gets Speed Cola, and then after that, you have 2 perks to really mix and match, which, I don't know, in my head, on the top of my head, I would do like PhD and double tap. That's just the top of my head. Don't really care about elemental pop like that, but that would probably be one I'd pick, or RYLTREE, you know. So there is some leeway, but it seems to be a mode to where you can customize how you want to have your ass torn into a new one, basically, which will be extremely fun to mess around and play with. And I'm excited to hunt for some relics throughout the seasons. You know, again, I've said this in a few videos, this is the only thing that I've been interested in is zombies, and I have actually, after the trailer and the blog posts, I am actually getting excited to play this. It will probably be the main thing I play during the beta, which comes out October 2nd. Now, some little bit of a quick rapid fire of just extra things I wrote on the side that I just thought were interesting before we get into a little bit about Dead Ops Arcade 4, which returned, which is really, really cool. Dead Ops was really fun. Love the first one, love the second one. Didn't really play much of the third, which I think was in Black Ops 4, if I'm correct. I was playing Blackout all the time in that game, so it took me away from everything. But some rapid fire, we have Ravagers, which are basically this game's version of Denizens from Tranzit. Everyone's favorite monster, zombie, monkey. They're very much of a chimpanzee build, and they roll in packs apparently, and they will actually eat your salvage, and I believe they will also eat power-ups as well. So if you get a max ammo, they will go and eat that shit. They hungry boys. Zursa, zombie bear, don't feed the Yao Guai. That is all. It's our elite boss. It's like I'm assuming it's like more so of a abomination than a mangler-esque thing. It also has mutated beehives all over its skin, releasing zombies. Move this man! Armored zombies, speed have been slowed, but they've become more durable. Also, they are no longer I don't know if they're no longer period to become a super sprinter, but in future rounds they will not be super sprinters. Also, super sprinter spawn rate has been decreased in a round itself, while also the amount that appear during a round at higher rounds. Also, custom HUDs will be returning. Hopefully they work, because all over Black Ops 6, in my experience, and even still, they were broken. Like, multiplayer, zombies, even when they separated the two, which was a great thing that they finally did, which took them a minute, it was still broken. I still had problems with both multiplayer and zombies HUD, with certain things popping up at the corner of my screen, the round thing above the map. It was a lot of problems. I still feel like they're broken, but the custom HUDs return while also giving us the ability to change colors. We get 2 different colors to mix and match with. They're also going to have presets, of course, but also some of the presets are themes supposedly from Call of Duty Zombie Pass. So in my brain, I immediately think Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 HUD. I'm just thinking of like buried HUD, because that one was really fucking cool. Even Mob of the Dead was cool. Just that'd be cool. That's something I'm gonna play with. Also, the Butte Injector, you don't become a Mangler anymore. You became the witch thing. I didn't write this one down. I just remembered it. I don't remember what it's called, but you get to be the witch thing from Shattered Veil. I think it shows up in Janus Towers. I could be wrong, but you could be that now instead of the Mangler. I would appreciate if the Mangler was just done, and those spider ones. Stop it, Treyarch. To end this video off, we're going to talk a little bit about Dead Ops Arcade 4. It returns with 4 ways to play it. 2, unfortunately, will not be there at launch. They will be post-launch additions, which one is hardcore, basically a harder version of the mode, and a standard advanced start, which is essentially like if you get to round 30 or like level 30 or whatever it may be, in advanced start, wherever you died off, you can just restart from that position. Instead of having like traditional Dead Ops Arcade, you start all the way at the beginning, which is very cool. That'll be great for people who literally can't ever finish it, like me. I've never finished one before. That would be really cool to do. It turns off leaderboards and stuff like that, but who really cares about leaderboards? Need to be in every game, but at the end of the day, do we really care that much about it? But I still want it in my games. That's how much I care about it. I want it in my games, but I'm never gonna look at it. But it will launch with casual, which is a more forgiving version of Dead Ops Arcade, and standard, which is the regular way to play. The mode will also have round-based elements, which basically those elements, from what I've read and seen, are mainly just ammo mods, field upgrades, and gobblegums, but those features will slightly work different in Dead Ops Arcade. I'm assuming for the most part gobblegums are the ones that will be slightly different, and field upgrades, ammo mods might have some slight differences as well, but I think gobblegums are the main thing that are very different. Because also, why would you even use your gobblegums in Dead Ops Arcade? I mean, it's good that they're giving us more ways to use that shit, but it's also like, who's gonna use that shit? Also, this is the first time in Dead Ops Arcade history where you can choose to either play it how it's supposed to be played, which personally that's how I'll play it, but I still think this is a cool idea, is now you can now play it in first person. I remember I think it was Dead Ops Arcade 2, which was in Black Ops 3. It's all a jumbled mess for me, but in that version there was a pickup where you would go into first person. I really like that. I'll definitely try out Dead Ops Arcade 4 in first person, but I think the way to play it is the OG way, unique camera cuts and stuff like that. So humbly, in my opinion, that is everything I believe you should know in Black Ops 7 Zombies to come. Of course, there's a plethora of information you can read on the blog. Didn't go into any of the specific augment changes, but that mostly, I would say 90% of them are all debuffs, nerfs, which is ridiculous. Makes no sense. And all that stuff and jazz. Very exciting. I want to know what you think in the comments below. What are you excited for? Personally, I'm actually kind of interested to see how the melee weapons work, because they've just been, I don't use melee at all in Call of Duty in many, many years. But that just sounds fun, just that they're enhancing the melee minigame, essentially. Mechanics. Curse mode is my #1 interest. I'm actually very interested in doing Ashes of the Damned. It looks like a great map. It is just like a Revelations, but maybe better. Survival map I will also test out, of course, in the beta. Those are probably my biggest things. I'm personally actually not too crazy about the truck. It is old Tessie. It is kind of interesting. I'll probably enjoy it when the game comes out, but personally, I prefer the bus. I'm a purist when it comes to zombies. Zombies is an experience I see as when you are in zombies, you shouldn't have complete control over everything when playing. Maybe setting up a match, have a bunch of control, because that's really cool and that's fun and innovative, like cursed mode. But being inside the match, I feel like you shouldn't have that much control to the point where you can get in a truck and drive wherever you want. I want to be able to, I want to wait for the bus. I want to wait for the train. I want to wait for the tank or whatever. Even if the tank is that you start it and it moves around the map, you don't get to control it, you just start it. That's the most control I want, because zombies is like a power fantasy, while at the same time you're gonna get overrun. I don't know, I like that shit. That's what made me fall in love with this game. I can get real good, I can get real powerful, but eventually reality strikes and you ain't that powerful. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear this. Let's expand this conversation there. I will be there yapping if you are yapping. Random thought. I'm going to check. I don't think YouTube has this feature, but if I could like do a comment poll, I'll do that in the comments. But I don't think that's a feature. That's a really cool feature idea. YouTube, you should totally do that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and become a real one. Subscribe. Bye.